Welcome, everybody, to the Everything Automotive Podcast, Episode 2.
Everything.
Brought to you by Imperium Racing. Today, we're going to be talking about our personal top 3 favorite cars.
Best cars on earth.
Yeah, we think.
I know. I'm going to start it off here with the Toyota MR2, the second generation. I feel like those are really nice cars. They're 2-liter turbo, the 3S GT engine, pretty reliable. Toyota, makes 200 horsepower. It's a mid-engine, rear-wheel drive car, nice platform. People called it the poor man's Porsche. So it went for $20,000 was the MSRP on that.
Dang.
The Porsche of that era, the Carrera, went for $60,000, whereas the Turbo S went for $90,000. Just way more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot of car for the money. I feel like it's one of the best old cars, and you can pick them up for around $10,000 now, less than $10,000, but for $10,000, you get a nice pristine.
Yeah. I wish I saw more of those around. You don't see a lot of them at car shows or anything like that.
They're pretty rare, yeah.
Yeah, the few you see, I feel like are pretty nice usually, but they're pretty rare, I think.
Nice cars. Yeah, some of the really pristine ones with under 100,000 miles actually still go for like $15,000 to $20,000. So they retained almost all their value.
Yeah.
But if you get like an older, kind of more beat up one that you want to put some TLC into, you could get it for $5,000 to $10,000 all day.
Okay.
But so the Porsches of that era, actually, the 1991 Carrera had 250 horsepower. It was 5.5 0 to 60. This was 200 horsepower, and actually in Japan it had 240 horsepower. We got screwed on that one, but 200 is still respectable. This is 2,500 pounds. The Carrera is pretty heavy. Yeah, I want to say it was 3,200 pounds. That's just a guesstimate,
I can't believe emissions regulations took 40 horsepower away.
Yeah, they screwed us. Actually, it was a whole different engine that they got. Not a completely different engine, but
still probably because of
internals and that
emissions
kind of good
or
they screwed us out of that.
That's crazy. It's like a fifth of the horsepower.
That being said, they're very tunable. They have that base that you could just tune it up and make 300 horsepower like that.
You can swap some other engines in there too, right?
Oh yeah. You could put I want to say it was
Honda
the Camry.
Yeah,
Camry 6. Yeah, the Honda. You could put a 6-cylinder in there, and then you could put the Honda K20 in there. And just boost that up.
Now that we're talking about it, it kind of reminds me of like a mini NSX. Kind of.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe. Yeah, like mid-engine, one. Nice.
A cheaper one.
Cheaper, definitely cheaper. It's nice. It handles well. Its weight distribution's like 53-47 weight distribution. Like I said, pretty light car, pretty good power to weight ratio. 7,000 red line, so get it screaming,
Yeah.
Screaming.
My first one is also 90s. I went with the Integra, which I know are pretty popular, but
ooh la la.
Yeah. It's funny. There's a lot of them out there, and I feel like there's a lot of really nice ones and a lot of really beat to shit ones.
It's all over the place.
So you can find an expensive one or a cheap one, but I've had a couple, and I will have a third one pretty soon here. But I really like them. They made them from, I was going to say 1997, but that's not right. It started in 1985, until 2006. So they made them for a while, and in the first 4 years, they sold 250,000 of them. I believe that's just to the U.S., which is crazy. That's
like as many Teslas that have been made,
Yeah, and that's just the first 4 years. So since then, I'm sure a whole bunch more have been made. But they're known for their double wishbone suspension, which is really good handling, and pretty much well known as the best front-wheel drive car ever made, or one of the best. And when they came out with the GSR model, it had all these specs are going to be the United States domestic market because there's so many different variations, just like yours. Yeah, there's more horsepower in the Japanese one and whatnot. So for the United States, the GSR redlined to 8,100, which is crazy, and had 178 horsepower and 128 foot-pounds of torque, and it only weighed about 2,500 pounds.
Respectable.
And then if you got a Type R, it had 195 horsepower and 130 foot-pounds of torque, which is, pretty crazy, like 200 horsepower in a 2,500-pound car.
Oh, yeah.
And it handles really well. And And the red line in the Type R is 8,400, and fuel cutoff was 9,000 RPMs.
Screaming.
Which, you know, I feel like they're just asking you to take 9,000 if that's when they're telling you
I
to
think
stop. So
at least like 8,900, you know.
Yeah.
Play it safe.
that means you could get up there and it'd be fine. So in 1997, the Type R sold for 24,000, which correlates to about 36,000 in today's money.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Around WRX price, you know.
Yeah, for
STI.
a pretty high performance car. I mean, that was their highest trim level. The Type R really was basically a true race car because they did a whole bunch of things to cut weight out of it, which is something you don't normally do on a luxury brand like Acura. It's something you would do on a race car. So it's also a way to tell real Type Rs if you see them on Craigslist or something. Sometimes they can just buy a center console with the little Type R production number on it, but a real Type R doesn't have a sunroof. They never came with sunroofs. They didn't come with rear wipers, and they didn't come with vanity mirrors. So if you fold down the sun visor, there's no vanity mirror in there.
Every
just
ounce counts.
Little things. Yeah, I think they saved like 180 pounds or something, or 120 pounds or something like that.
Just from the vanity mirror.
Yeah, which doesn't seem like a lot, but they did everything they could because, I mean, when the car only weighs 2,500 pounds or, give or take 100 pounds,
everything
matters.
Definitely.
So it really was a true race car, and in 2002, they rebranded it in the United States as RSX. Everywhere else in the world, it was the Honda Integra from 85 to 06, but here it was Acura Integra, and then it was the Acura RSX in 02 to 06.
Strange.
And another thing that sucked was we didn't get a Type R RSX. We had a Type S, which had a little more horsepower.
Not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. The Type R had a Momo steering wheel, it had Brembo brakes, it had Recaro seats, and it had a LSD differential. And
Fully
we
modded
didn't
from
get any
factory.
of that. Yeah, fully modded from Acura. And we didn't get any of that in the US. We had the Type S. But
Dang.
and then in 2006 they killed it. It didn't fit their plan for the market anymore. They didn't see a spot for it, so
Not here.
no more Integra, but pretty much regarded as the best front-wheel drive, naturally aspirated.
Definitely
car.
respectable. I always wanted a
They handle like crazy. I've driven, both of mine had over 200,000 miles on them because they last a long time.
Honda.
And even with 20-year-old, 200,000-mile rubber in the suspension, is still handled like crazy.
Oh yeah, and I've seen some crazy modded.
Oh
Acuras,
yeah,
Integras, you know.
people get those up to like
Send 'em.
800 horsepower, 850 horsepower.
I want to say
crazy.
I saw a video on YouTube, one just eating Lamborghinis just
Mhm.
on the drag strip. So yeah,
There's a
front wheel
handful of
drive
them out there that they just get nuts with them.
Definitely.
It's crazy. It's crazy. That sums up my first one.
Going to the next.
Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna do the new Supra, the Mark V, 2020, 2021 Supra GR. So comes with the B58 engine. It's also an inline six, similar to the 2JZ that was in the Mark IV. Not sure why everyone hates this car. You know, everyone's hating on it. They're like, it's not a Supra, it's a BMW. But the B58 actually can make a lot of horsepower on that stock block, just like the Mark IV.
Oh, right.
Yeah, a lot of people actually, I believe one of the SEMA Supras made 700 wheel horsepower on the stock block. So
Damn.
yeah, but they're 3,400 pounds, inline six, like I said. Factory rated them at 335 horsepower, but a lot of the tuners who tested them on the dyno were getting around that number on the dyno to the wheels. So I don't know what they were thinking saying that. You know, it probably made more closer to like 370, 380
At the
on
engine.
the crank. Yeah, you can push 800 horsepower, like I said, 800 on the stock block. I wouldn't recommend doing it, but
Yeah.
it's there. You know, it's just like the Mark IV. It actually has a perfect 50-50 weight distribution too, so send it around the corners pretty well. It's a rear-wheel drive though, not all-wheel drive, but I mean that just means you could drift a little better, like Tokyo Drift, you know.
Yeah,
But,
and they look great with the body kit on them too.
Oh yeah, with the
Speaking of
Pandem. Speaking of it,
Thanks to your
I guess we both like them, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out. But yeah, torque peaks at 2,200 RPM. Pretty low for a turbo car like that, you know, get it going from the start. And 8-speed automatic, you know, it has the Tiptronic, the little paddle shifters, but you know,
It didn't come in a manual, huh?
It did not.
That's probably what got some people.
I think that's why a lot of people were butthurt about it. But honestly, we're entering a new age. You know, you gotta keep up with the times.
Yeah, it's faster anyways.
Yeah.
But I understand. It'll be interesting to see if anyone makes a manual version somehow.
That will be, yeah. Integrate do a manual swap on it.
Yeah, that'd be hard. It'd be a lot of work, but it'd be pretty cool though.
The B50.
It'd be one of a kind for sure.
Oh, definitely. That'd be sick. I've seen someone put a 2JZ in it just for the hell of it, I guess.
Oh, really?
But yeah. No, I haven't seen a manual one. That would be interesting.
Write that idea down. Manual
in here, yeah.
Mark V Supra.
Definitely. But I'll
We're
let you go on to
you guys will see it here first, actually.
Definitely. Give us some time and some money.
Yeah, a lot of money. All right. So for my next one, I picked 2 Chevys because, as you may have seen in the first podcast, I'm bad at making up my mind. So
always picking 2.
They're about the same price though. You know, it's like my mid-range one. Chevy 3500 pickup truck.
Interesting.
I like trucks. I want a truck to tow a trailer.
This is
car
America.
trailer, camping trailer, whatever. I just want a truck.
Gotta have one in America.
Yeah, I mean, you can go pick up an engine with it, you know, put it in the back. You can do all kinds of stuff with the truck.
A lot of fun in the back of the truck.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to move a cherry picker or an engine around, you need a pickup truck. But the current Duramaxes, they go from about 40 to 80K depending on if you get a 2500, 3500, dually, long bed, crew cab. There's a million configurations.
I'll take 2 of the 40,000.
Yeah, I don't know how you could get one for 40,000. It probably doesn't come with a pickup bed or something, but so closer to 60, 70,000.
Probably.
But the current 6.6 liter Duramax comes with the Allison transmission, which is really well known and reliable, and has 445 horsepower and 910 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow.
So that's how you can tow more than 30,000 pounds, according to the specs for the 2020.
Definitely.
It says it tows over 30,000 pounds.
Put a lot of stuff in there.
If you get one of those, you don't have to worry about not being able to pull whatever you're going to pull.
Exactly.
Which is pretty crazy. And then, so I want a truck, so I couldn't decide between that or a Callaway Tahoe, which I feel like a lot of people might not know exists. Maybe they've seen a Callaway Corvette, but I don't know how popular Callaway is nowadays, but they're still making cars. They're still making nice, fast cars. Their Corvettes are crazy, but they also make pretty much any other Chevy. You can get
you
can get a Tahoe, a Suburban, a Camaro, a GMC Canyon or Colorado, the smaller truck. Yeah, literally all of them. So the Callaway Tahoe is a supercharged 6.2 liter V8. Has 560 horsepower and 553 foot-pounds of torque, which is crazy. I just think it'd be really fun to have a Tahoe SUV, and then someone pulls up in like Camaro or Mustang, you know, trying to be cool, and you're just like, nope,
not today.
Get out of here. And those, it says about you can add 18K onto like the base model price to roughly see how much they cost, because you have to actually like contact Callaway to get a price.
It's aftermarket stuff.
Yeah, and so
they just throw a supercharger on and some tuning, and
yeah, just like bolt-ons and some tuning, and like wheels and stuff too. And they rebadge it so it says Callaway, and they look nicer. I don't think they repaint them, but they look a lot nicer.
TLC to it.
Just a little spice up the interior and exterior.
Exactly.
So those. Tahoe is about 50K. They say add 18 to that, so you're at 70,000. I would say maybe a little more than that, because Callaway has options, just like building any other car.
We got a rich guy over here, mid range.
Yeah,
70,000.
My mid range is 70,000. And one of the options you can add is a 5-year, 60,000 mile warranty. So I just think that's cool that you could get like a souped up SUV and still get a long warranty on it.
Oh, most definitely.
Because if you have something powerful like that, a warranty is going to be nice.
Oh, of course.
So if you add up all those options, it's probably more like 80K, but that's still my mid-range.
Mid-range. We're shooting for the stars here.
Yeah, but those are pretty sweet, and I feel like I've never seen one in person.
Zach and his honorable mentions.
Yep.
Well,
only 2 this time though.
I guess that goes into the high range here. So I'm gonna do the Audi R8, the V10 Plus. That's a 5.2 liter, makes 600 horsepower. Also very tunable. Speaking of aftermarket stuff with warranties, Underground Racing actually offers a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on their twin turbo R8s.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is
it's
crazy.
Actually crazy.
It's insane considering that they make around 2,000 wheel horsepower, like around 1,000 to 2,000. It depends on which stage. They have a bunch of different stages, but the R8 by far my favorite car. 8,000 RPM. Chassis shared with the Lamborghini Huracan. It's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a nice aluminum chassis, a little carbon fiber in there too. It's 2.60 to 60. So Audi says it's 3.1, but it's been tracked on Road and Track at around 2.6 to 2.8. So I'm going with the 2.6. You know.
And that's before underground racing.
Before underground racing. After underground racing,
horsepower, triples the horsepower.
You're under 2 seconds. It's probably like a roller coaster, you know, just pins you back in your seat. 10.5 half mile, or 10.5 quarter mile rather, stock. But they're super nice cars. It's a little on the heavier side for how small it is, 3,600 pounds. But you need a little bit of weight to put all that power to the ground, you know.
It's all-wheel drive?
It is all-wheel drive. It's got the Quattro system, 43-57 weight distribution. It's not completely perfect, but I think it'll do with all the all-wheel drive. It compensates for that. But very tunable, like I said. Underground Racing tunes them, and they've had one that does 250 in the half mile. So from just imagine that.
That's crazy.
250.
And the all-wheel drive could make up for a little bit of not perfect weight distribution. And
exactly.
If you're trying to track it or corner it or something.
Definitely.
That much horsepower is just insane.
Yeah.
That's got to be so fast.
By far, favorite car, Underground Racing. Shout out. Twin turbo R8. I'll own one.
Yeah, Josh has been following those forever.
Oh, yeah. I've been Underground Racing. Back in the Viper days. Viper used to be my favorite car when I was young. Honorable
I liked
mention.
those when I was younger, too.
Dodge Viper. That was my old favorite car. V10, you know.
Viper ACR.
The ACRs were sick, yeah.
Those are nuts.
Definitely.
Those are cool.
Nice cars, but
that's going to go on a podcast of cars they should bring back.
We should. Yeah, Viper is definitely one they should bring back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are sweet.
I'll let you go into your final car here.
Alrighty, so my final car is, just a little bit above my mid-range price.
It's a little.
I went with the Dodge Charger Daytona or the Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird, which are both very long names, just like the long wings that are on the back and the long nose cone on the front. So these are modified from the factory versions of the Charger or the Roadrunner. They came with a giant nose cone and a huge wing on the back that they built for racing, and then obviously sold them that way too. And there weren't that many made. So they started building them in 68, so model year 69, and they only made them through 70 and 71.
Pretty rare. Pretty
and I think
numbers.
It was the Dodge Charger for 69 and then the Superbird for 70 and 71.
Interesting.
And they were nicknamed the Winged Warriors, which I thought was pretty cool. But they're a pretty cool car because they were racing, and the Daytona was named after Daytona Beach in Florida, where the Daytona 500 is, and a lot of other auto racing back in the 60s and 70s. And they put this giant wing on the back and this giant nose cone on the front, and they started winning a lot of races. And it was actually the first car to break 200 miles an hour.
Wow,
that's on quick. The racetrack. And
what year was that? Was that back in the?
That was in
70s?
70. Yeah.
Wow.
And so when they did that, it was March 1970. They went over 200. And after that, by the end of 1970, they banned aero on cars with a certain size engine. So cars with a really small engine could have aero, but not the bigger engines. Yeah, and so these came with a 440 cubic inch Hemi or a 426 cubic inch Hemi. So a big ass V8 with the aero made them crazy fast. So the Charger for the 440, there was only 503 made, and for the 426, there was only 70 made. So those are super rare. And I always knew they were a lot of money, and I was looking it up, and it's like $150K to maybe like $400, some of them, or the high 300s.
It's a wide range.
Yeah, and I thought that's like how much they were, but what I didn't realize is the 426s are so rare for both cars, the Superbird and the Daytona, that those are more like $850,000 to $1 million.
Paying more for less engine. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they were a little just more rare because they made less of them, and I think it was the more performance one. And one sold in 2015 for $900,000, which is crazy, and that was
that's
5
a house
years ago.
in the Bay Area. That's a
nice house in the Bay Area.
a nice house in the Bay Area. Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah, and so that went 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. 425 horsepower, 490 foot-pounds of torque in 69, 70.
Very respectable.
Like, that's a lot of power back then.
Definitely.
It weighed about 4,000 pounds, so a bigger car, but cars were heavy back then. And the Superbird 426, they only made 135. So 135 plus 70, 205 of the 426s between both models and all years. So that's why they're $1 million.
Exactly.
Because they look crazy, they're iconic and super fast, and they didn't make a lot of them.
Good luck getting your hand on one of those.
Yeah.
They're only going to go up and up.
You unfortunately could get your hand on a newer one. They brought back the Daytona name a few times.
Oh, yeah, I've seen.
I think the late 70s they did, and then I think it's so funny. In 06 and 08, they put the Daytona trim on, I think it's the regular Charger, which looks like a boat.
I've seen that.
And that was right around when they brought the Charger back, and it just
right down the side, Daytona.
It's just a box. It's like a giant shoe box. Yeah, it says Daytona right on it. They put a different sticker on the hood, and the Daytona trim level added 10 horsepower over the RT trim level.
That will get you going.
Which the weight of the sticker is probably canceled out.
I was going to say, no, that's almost as much horsepower as a sticker will give you.
Yeah, that's true. Well, 10 horsepower plus the stickers. So you're right. Maybe it was 20. More. It's 20 horsepower. So that car had 350 horsepower, 390 foot-pounds of torque, and weighed 4,000 pounds. So 100 foot-pounds less torque and less horsepower.
And newer. That's crazy. Thinking about it, the
more.
10 horsepower probably just comes from the sticker. I'm not sure that they even did anything to that one.
Yeah, you might be right. Maybe they just did the sticker.
I think so.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. The 06 to 08 is 4,000 pounds. The one in the 60s was about 3,700 or 3,200.
Oh, so the new one's about the old one.
So the new one weighs more and has way less power, and is not aerodynamic because it's a shoebox. So I just want to point out how much the new one sucks. But that was also when they brought the Charger back. Obviously now they have the Demon version of every Dodge that they make. They put the Hellcat motor in.
Red Eye.
Yeah, so now there's a Hellcat and everything. So they're getting back to being respectable. But that's my last one. I didn't mean to end that Superbird on the worst note, but the 60s ones are amazing and worth. I just love the way they look, and they're worth way too much money. So I'll never have one. Just
iconic.
kidding.
Yeah, you will. You'll have one. I'll have an R8. We'll race. I'll win. It's okay.
I don't know. No, just kidding. Yeah, that might win. Mine might fall apart at 100 miles an hour because it's way too old.
It's all good. But it's all about the looks, you know. We're not here for performance.
Yep. Just got to park in the garage, drive it to a car show, drive it home.
Exactly. Just take pictures of it and put it on Instagram.
Exactly. That's what you spend $1 million for. Yours would be at least practical. But.
Yeah. Well, that was podcast number 2. That about wraps it all up. Imperium Racing.
Now you know what our favorite cars are. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.